Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Mythic Gryphon. Today we are taking a look at a video game that is usually called Dragon's Dogma 2, but sometimes called Dragon's Dogma 2. So I've been playing this game since its launch date, and I have really been enjoying it, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit today and show off some of its traits, maybe just discuss some of its shortcomings. Again, this is Mythic Gryphon. Thank you for finding us and watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it if you want. That'd be cool. So this is an action RPG, came out in 2024. It is the sequel to a game that came out, I want to say maybe a little over 10 years ago, and had become something of a cult classic over the years. It is a little bit like a Souls game, and it's a little bit like Skyrim, but it's not really much like either one of them. Of the many unique systems within this game, perhaps the most unique is what's called the pawn system. Now, pawns are secondary characters that you get to design and indirectly control. They follow you around, they do your bidding, and they are shareable to other players. You can borrow other players' characters, and you can have a party of up to 4, including your main character and your pawn. Pawns will follow you around, and they won't. Your main character and your pawn do gain experience and level up, but the pawns that you've borrowed do not gain experience and level up. But what they do is they learn from watching your behaviors and your pawn's behaviors in game, and they can pick up all sorts of interesting tactics. And this is really my favorite aspect of this game, being able to design and outfit your own little AI buddy that you send out into the world for other players to experience, and you train them indirectly. Subtle things they'll notice, tactics such as picking up enemies and chucking them off cliffs or into water, which is also instant death. They're going to watch that behavior, and if you do it enough, they'll start to emulate it. In fact, if you do it to characters that you kind of ought not to, such as townsfolk or pawns, they'll do that too. So you have to be a little bit wary of being reckless. Now, controlling your pawns can be somewhat tactical in that you have a set of 4 commands, which are to go, to return, to stay, and to help. Go sends them off to operate under whatever conditions that they have been programmed to. Follow tells them just to stick near you and kind of do what you do. Help makes them cast spells or come near you and assist on whatever enemy you're fighting. And of course, stay tells them to stand in place. Now, they have their own personalities, which can vary, and sometimes they don't follow your directions, and there is an in-game mechanic which can make them sick. Now, your main character and your main pawn gain experience by questing and also by just going out into the world and killing monsters. But your borrowed pawns do not gain experience alongside you. They do not level up. They are watching you and learning from your behaviors, but they're not actively gaining levels like you and your main pawn. So if you have a pawn that you are really enjoying, it can be hard to keep level with them, because if you're at 25 when you borrowed them and then you level up to 30, they're still going to be 25. And so you think, well, I'll just dismiss them and re-borrow them. Well, if their main character, if their player hasn't been leveling up at the same rate as you, they could either be like still 25 or like 27, or they could be 50. And if they are higher level than you, you then have to pay for them with an in-game currency, which isn't too hard to come by. One workaround for that is if you befriend the player who created that pawn, and they befriend you through whatever system you're using, whether it's PC or console, you can then rent that pawn for free. So I did find somebody who's like level 999 and asked them if they minded if I friended them, and they were like, no worries. And so I have access to this very high level pawn, which I haven't really had call for using. So take that for what it's worth. Now, the map is wide and varied. There's quite a few locales and regions and biomes, and there's a good amount of enemy variety, including these enormous beasties who you can climb up on and dispatch in a variety of ways, including chopping away at their neck, shoulders, and head, which can be gratifying. And doing battle with these gargantuan enemies is somewhat reminiscent of a game, say, like Monster Hunter. In terms of difficulty, this game can feel easy if you're doing well, but if you let your guard down, you will get smashed. Using your weapons and your skills is integral, and so is commanding your pawns effectively. I recall when this game first came out, a lot of people complaining that their pawns were falling off cliffs, doing all sorts of crazy things, and I can attest that that is by virtue of them watching the main character themselves do crazy, silly things, and then emulating that behavior, because that is what they do. And just keep in mind, if your pawn is doing weird stuff and you haven't been, it's probably because you learned it by watching somebody else. Now, as you can see, we are doing battle with an enormous Cyclops here. Not only are there a variety of gargantuan beasties, but there's also a number of variations within each type.
High five.
So there are Cyclops, like we see this one here. There are ogres, there are dragons, and there are Gryphon. The channel is called Mythic Gryphon. I may or may not have named our dog, our puppy, Gryphon, after the Gryphon monsters of mythology, and then named this channel, in turn, after our puppy dog. Okay, so Dragon's Dogma 2 is a whole pile of fun if you're into this sort of game. There is a little bit of a learning curve, and it is skill-based, so if you're used to locking onto a target, this is probably going to be a little unusual to you. It's not like that. You can definitely wind up flying off in the wrong direction. But again, if you're careful and you know what you're doing and you have a feel for the game, you can certainly have a great deal of fun and look cool while doing it. It's a rewarding experience. There's a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, a lot of cool areas, and a lot of cool experiences to be had. So if you have the opportunity to give it a shot, I highly recommend it. If not, I don't know, there's other games out there. In any event, thank you for spending time here with us at Mythic Gryphon, and go out there and have yourself a wonderful day or evening, and thanks for watching. And please do like, subscribe, and all that jazz, share, comment, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for watching, you guys. Again, this is Mythic Gryphon. Hopefully we're going to have another video coming out for you soon, and we'll see you then. Dragon's Dogma 2.